I want to start this course by telling you a story about a woman from Lithuania. She was released from prison after serving a 12-year-long sentence for a serious crime, one that had caused deep harm and also even destroyed a life of a person. She didn't deny it, and that guilt she carried. She had to carry it every day she spent inside the prison and outside after she was released. But prison wasn't just punishment for her, it was also a turning point. That was a place where she developed a new routine, she developed new practical skills, she was very actively participating in educational activities, also worked with a social worker to prepare for her future. She was doing everything that was expected of her to do in order to successfully reintegrate back in the freedom. And when she stepped out of the prison, she was hopeful. That's when the media picked up the story again. Within days, headlines across the country brought back her name into the public eye, not to report on the success of her reintegration, but to remind people of the crime she committed more than a decade ago. And they didn't stop with sharing the facts, they also reused the same word they used when they were talking about the crime she committed a decade ago. And that word is a cannibal. That single label, shocking and dehumanizing, was all over media, written in bold letters next to her full name. Again, after 12 years. People who read those headlines didn't see her as a human being trying to start over. They saw her as a monster. She was harassed on the streets and also in her workplace. People were threatening her, and she even had to change departments at her workplace to just feel safer. But that didn't stop her. She continued working full-time. She also liked to paint, and she even opened up her little art exhibition in a local library. So she was really putting in the effort. She was building something new. But that word, a cannibal, never stopped following her. And over time, the pressure of constant public scrutiny, of the violence in people's reactions, and of being reduced again and again to the same crime that she committed a decade ago became too much. And after more than a year of trying to start her life over, she committed a suicide. Of course, media is not solely to be blamed for someone taking their life. In her case, there was also a devastating lack of psychological and social support. But the media didn't just report on the story, they shaped the narrative. They decided how she would be seen. And by doing that, they made it really difficult for her to reintegrate back into the society. Also, on top of that, when she died, the media, they continued using the word cannibal. Not to honor her life, not to acknowledge the efforts that she put in, and also not to give space for her loved ones, but to sell a story. Some people might think this is a form of justice, but I cannot imagine any form of justice looking like this. Because that kind of coverage, it doesn't heal wounds, it just reopens them. Even for people who were harmed in the first place by the crime committed. This kind of coverage doesn't repair relationships, it just isolates people further. And it doesn't protect society, it continues damaging lives. And this has to be changed. And that's why we are here today. Hi, my name is Yeva Matskute, and I've spent the last 8 years working in and around prisons. Also in 2019, I founded an NGO in Lithuania, with a mission to create spaces for connection and change inside prisons. In this short course, we will explore the role that storytelling, journalism, and media play in shaping how society sees people who've committed crime, and what it means for justice, reintegration, and collective healing. Most people in prisons aren't serial killers or war criminals, though they are people who made serious mistakes, often while facing serious personal struggles. But the way we talk about them can either help them to move forward or trap them in the same cycle of reoffending. This course is about telling human stories with care, especially stories of those who hold no power. Because when the people we write about can't speak back, we carry the responsibility to speak about them responsibly.